So we are approached with this quadratic over here, and what we are asked to do is to find the solutions or solve this quadratic equation. Now, the first thing many people like to do is they like to factor this and see, can I find the solutions of this just by factoring? And as you can see here, I can't really think of any numbers that multiply to 1 and add to 4. So I don't think factoring would be an effective solution because if you can't find those two numbers, then you can't really factor. So there is another method called the quadratic formula. Here's the formula right here. You must memorize this. It's not that hard to memorize. There are lots of catchy songs on the internet that help you memorize this. But it's negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. So let's look at our quadratic over here. This is our a term, this 4 is our b term, and this 1 is our c term. So let's just write it over here. A equals 1. And the reason why 1 is because 1 is the coefficient of this x. B equals 4, and c equals 1. So the quadratic equation is pretty simple, honestly. All you have to do is you just have to plug in these numbers into the formula. So negative b, b is equal to 4, so that will equal a negative 4, plus or minus, then we do the square root of b squared, which is 4 squared equals 16, minus 4ac. So let's multiply 1 and 1 and get 1. So minus 4, and then all over 2. So that is it. So this is how we find the solution. So you may be saying that there's only one solution here. Wrong. This plus or minus, so you do negative 4 plus this, divide by 2, and negative 4 minus this, and 2. And those two answers we get will be our two solutions. So let's first do negative 4 plus 12, square root of 12. Let me just... So plus the square root of 12 over 2, and then negative 4 minus the square root of 12 over 2. Now, even though we technically have our two solutions over here, we are not done because this square root of 12 can actually be broken down. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this. So we know that negative 12 equals, so negative 12 equals negative 4 times square root of 4 times square root of 3. So we know that the square root of 4 is 2. So honestly, the square root of 12 is the same thing as writing 2 times the square root of 3. And this is how teachers would like to see your answers, as simplified square roots. So we notice that these 2 and 2 can cancel, so you'll end up having negative 4 plus the square root of 3. And we can do the same exact thing for this side. So it's going to be 2 square root of 3. Get rid of these, and then we'll have our answer negative 4 minus square root of 3. So these are two solutions for this quadratic. We would have never found these solutions by factoring. And so let's talk about the quadratic formula, for example. So the quadratic formula, like I said, will work 100% of the time. It will work 100%. It will guaranteed you will find the zeros of a quadratic if you do the math and plugging in properly. But however, the quadratic formula should be your last resort. So when you approach a quadratic like this, you want to see, can you factor it? And how can you determine will you factor it? Well, you have to think what multiplies to 1 and what adds to 4. If you can't think of any numbers, you would use the quadratic formula. And that is how you get these sort of rational roots that you would have never gotten by factoring. So I'll leave you there. You could check out more factoring videos, or you could look up practice. Practice makes perfect. So I'll see you in the next one.